Sorry, from 17 once again. This is my Last of Us Grounded difficulty walkthrough. This is the final part of Lakeside Resort. We're now stealthing as Ellie through the snowstorm, and this is surprisingly simple. I was quite curious as to how I would do these parts, especially the part with Joel coming up. Turns out I would do them quite comfortably, and I just didn't think I would, because they're not that difficult. And my first walkthrough of this area, I guess I just didn't really find as good of a path as I stumbled upon this time, but this was all one attempt, just kind of ad-libbing, doing what I can, and it worked really well. But the thing that surprised me most was, when you play as Joel, coming up, you don't have to kill anybody, and I kind of thought you did. But I managed to find a way around it, which I was super happy about. But at the same time, I wish I'd have found it earlier, because it would have made my survivor guide better, for all intents and purposes. But once you're out here, the visibility is clearly compromised, and it gives you a lot more freedom to do things you normally wouldn't be able to do like that. That guy kind of saw something, but he's not too sure. And the good thing here is he's going to investigate quite slowly, so we can just loop around and go past him this way. I bet this part looks amazing on PS4 because I really like the effect of the snow on the screen, how it's affecting the camera, and I really like how the fire kind of adds to the colour of that like cyan hue that is all over the screen at this point, that subtle colouring, and the combination of the fire and the cyan of the snow it's just a really nice visual effect. But keep on pushing through. It helps here if you know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, it's going to be much more tricky, because this is quite a big compound, and this is one of those parts where the game really doesn't tell you where to go, which I appreciate. It trusts you to kind of, just keep pushing forward. And this was one of the better areas of the game for me, because it had that element of mystery to it. And The Last of Us is quite a linear game. So for it to open up like this, I think it really increased the tension, because you never knew if you were moving towards an area where there was a ton of people. You just didn't have that knowledge. But right there, watch this. This is the cheekiest thing I do all guide. He sees me, he fires at me, and I use it to loop around him and get out this window. It worked perfectly. That guy, nothing I could do there. He was far too observant and in a really inopportune place. So I stab him in the balls, or wherever she puts that knife, and then I run, because I might as well. And at this point, I don't think there's anybody else left waiting for us. I think it's just a clear-cut jog into the boss fight coming up. And the boss fight is god-awful, man. I don't know what it is about this boss fight, but there's something really strange that happens with David. You're sneaking up on him, and for no reason whatsoever other than, the sliders on his awareness are so high on this difficulty, he just spins around. He just boomer turns when there's no reason for him to boomer turn. You're crouch walking, there's no plates around, and boom, he just kind of fucks you. And it happens quite a lot. So all I can really say is it does get frustrating because there's no checkpoint between any of the phases, and I did not do this first time. But what I did find is, once you stab him 2 times, on my survivor walkthrough, he went to the kitchen. Do you remember that? If you watched it, I know I do. So on this one, I go to the kitchen, hoping that he's going to run away and turn up there. And obviously, it's kind of random, and he doesn't go to the kitchen. So I'm crouched in the kitchen for about 5 minutes waiting for this dude to turn up. So what I'm going to do on the gameplay is I'm going to trim the waiting out so it looks instantaneous. But you need to know, folks, that it wasn't. The guy's pattern and the path he chooses through this room is entirely up to him. And just be aware that whenever you are not directly behind him, there is a very high chance that he will somehow omnisciently see you. It sucks, but it's a side effect of having the AI programmed to be so alert. And it's interesting, and I suppose in real life, if you want to bring realism into it, which I think is always a flawed argument with games, he might be able to sense us, but the game has worked on a very set, mechanical level up to this point. Why would it be any different now? And I understand he's a boss, so maybe, he's special It just seems to breed inconsistency, and I don't know if that's what Naughty Dog were going for, you know, to try and give it that edge of fear, but who knows. So we stabbed him twice, and this is where the truly random part happens. He now runs off, gets all crouched, and we start playing hide and seek. On my survivor guide, he came and hid in here. This time, he didn't. So there's a crossfade. And what I do here, folks, is I finally got the guts to move because I realised this wasn't working. And I move over to this door to look into the bar to see if he's in that restaurant area that's now, you know, really, really burning. Which, it can make you cough if you didn't know. And if Ellie coughs, he can hear it and he'll turn around. Which, a little bit inconsiderate on the player, but I suppose that is definitely an interesting touch. And what happens is I don't see him, I come back over here, I look over to my left, and then when I look over to the right, I see him move past. It's this really weird thing of, like, I can't see him there, can't see him at all. Then I move, see him? Boom. So now I've got eyes on him, I know exactly where he is, it's just a case of tracking him down and finishing him off. This can be done much quicker if you get into a place where it's easier to track him down, but it got a bit hectic, and this is kind of how it ended. And then I get behind him, and then I finish him off. I don't think it's a very challenging encounter. I just think you can get screwed by just how damn alert he can be. But we're now controlling Joel, and I'm going to show you a pretty interesting way of skipping this entire first encounter, which never even thought to try before, but managed to get it to work here. So the thing you need to know is there's a guy where that fire is who has a rifle who's overlooking. Because of the conditions, we have an advantage of not being that easy to spot, but the bad news is there are two dudes when you get close to this that come out of the entrance of the container. The first time I tried to skip this area, I ran into those guys and it didn't end well. The second time, I knew they were coming, so I thought I'll stay just here and hopefully they won't notice me. So the first guy drops, carries on walking. Second guy drops, carries on walking. If this was Sniper Elite 3, both of those would have spun around and seen me. That's the difference between a good game and a bad one. But now I've done that, I climb in here, I go out here, and you've just skipped that entire encounter. I thought that was awesome. It's probably already been well documented on the internet and everybody did it that way, but I didn't, and yeah, I was quite happy with that. So this part, there's going to be a ton of guys directly north of me now, and they're going to move to the left of the screen, so we're going to move to the right of the street and move up that way to completely avoid being anywhere near them. I believe there's 3. I could be wrong. I don't really want to chance it, so I'm just going to sneak up here. And I think once we get past this area, we're pretty much done. I think so. I could be wrong. Let's have a look. What are we doing, Joel? Yeah, we run into the freezer. The freezer has Ellie's bag. I'm still crouching because I'm not that familiar with this part of the game. You know, I forget the areas that aren't all that important. There's Ellie's bag, telling us that she was here. Then we walk into the bloody meat fridge and it's full of all cannibalistic offerings waiting to be cooked. But I'm trying to go out the other door, 'cause it shows how much I know what I'm doing.
Oh, Christ.
But yeah, yummy, yummy winter supply of food there. Game forces you to walk here as well. And I believe once we exit this, we're out on the street and we're very close to the big house, and then all that needs to be done is you run up to the manor thing, the cabin, whatever the hell it is, restaurant.
Ellie.
And we're done. Thank you very much for watching. You take care now.